We had a substantial amount of capital available to invest.
Government policies, macro indices, market movement. Business Express on Smooth 98.1 in association with Stanbic IBTC.
Stanbic IBTC. Moving forward.
We're live with Business Express this morning inside of Smooth 98.1 FM and Smooth Breakfast. And Rotus is here with Tosin. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning, sir. I'm still recovering from yesterday. I'm trying to get into the business thing.
Tosin, we're fine.
You guys won't be fine after you see it, though.
All right, guys. Join the conversation on Twitter. We use the hashtag Business Express 91, and of course, send a message to WhatsApp. The number is 0809-444-0981.
Yes. Thank you. So, all share index recovery on Tuesday was a false start. Things have dipped again. So as of yesterday, market was down by 0.1%. 40,755.73 points is where we closed. The market cap is down to 14.72 trillion naira. So far this year, we're still up by 6.5%. Gosh, from the highs of 17%. January, Tosin, we've just dipped, but it is what it is. We're still positive. 24 gainers, 23 losers. Forte Oil, 20% by yesterday, 47 naira, 70 kobo, and FBN Holdings was the top loser, down by 8.9% to 12 naira, 20 kobo. The parallel market is at 363 naira to the dollar. Want to welcome, of course, Muyiwa Oni of Stanbic. Muyiwa, good morning, sir. Good to have you with us as well. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for.
So we just did the market. I want to discuss is the oil markets. It looks like the United States is disrupting things again. Muyiwa, I'm showing here. It looks like, I don't know. Have they taken shale oil taken advantage of the increase in crude prices? What's happening?
I think that's always been the risk, right? So I think there's always been like a break-even point for shale, and I think for most analysts that's been the downside risk to oil prices. So for a long time, through most of last year, I think average estimates for most analysts was about 55.
Worried because I'm showing here that I'm asking if you're not worried or not, because US output is supposed to hit like 10.7 million barrels per day this year, which is supposed to rival, Russia and Saudi Arabia. Yeah, the OPEC
so
guys.
It's almost like the shale seems to be closing that gap that OPEC continues to create. And I think for me, it's thinking about where oil price is coming from, and then also think about the driver. So in a way, I think there's that view that part of what's driving the higher oil prices right now is global growth. So global growth seems to be improving, particularly more from developed markets than emerging markets or developing markets in the past. And I think that's why to some extent seems still to be driving oil prices.
Okay. We keep an eye on that. Tosin, are we seeing something from our revenue side of things?
Yes, we are.
What's happening there?
There's a whopping $250 billion increase quarter on quarter. That's a lot.
From the FIRS collections,
collection, that's a lot. And we can see that the main driver here is the increase in petroleum profit tax collection. So not only did our oil production increase, the price of the crude oil itself increased. And so that we're seeing that majority of this increase, the 250 billion, is driven from an increase in the petroleum profit tax collection.
I do want to. There's one thing that jumped out at me from this headline here, and of course, FIRS generates 1.17 trillion in 3 months. So Q1 versus Q1 last year. Yeah. I think this was from the Punch. This quote, Lagos, you guys listen to this. So our correspondent gathered that though the amnesty declared for taxpayers to regularize their tax status by paying all outstanding taxes and be free from prosecution and payment of interest under the voluntary income and asset declaration scheme VADES might have led to more taxpayers coming forward to pay, the scheme was not recorded to have contributed anything to the declared amount. I had a little Twitter exchange with a couple people on this yesterday. I think Tosin, I even tagged you in the tweet. Yeah. What are your thoughts here? Because this VADES period of grace has been going on for 9 months since July, but with everything that's been going on, it wasn't recorded. There was no. I mean, that is still waiting because they extended it to June. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I suspect with elections as well, it's difficult to see how you're raising taxes into an election year. So my view has been, I suspect this grace period would be extended for a longer period. And so, and I think maybe there's also that reality that we're still an oil-driven economy. That's what you're seeing in the higher revenues.
That's coming from the FIRS.
Higher oil prices, higher revenues as well. I think for most foreign investors, that seems to be their confidence in the environment. That as long as oil prices stay where they are,
then they're good.
There's limited concern, even though there's still that view that we need to generate and improve non-oil revenues, non-oil taxes as well. And so, but it's difficult to see how you execute that during an election year. I think there's also been some study as well that's shown that most of these amnesty or grace programs never really help support that increased tax revenue drive that that the government currently seems to be pushing. And so I recall when VIDs first came in and there was that position on amnesty, and I think it was either the World Bank or IMF that pointed that out, that so far in environments where it's been tried, it hasn't really been as successful.
Tosin, what do you think?
I just find it very strange that we've put in all this effort, jingles, Twitter, everywhere, and then you're saying that you didn't generate any revenue from it.
Someone actually reached the person who I was on Twitter with. He was like, "Okay, wait, so Rotus, let's look at the wording here." They said the scheme, it was not recorded, so it's like they could have collected something, but they just didn't record it as part of the revenue that they generated for the first quarter. And I mean, okay, but still, I mean, with everything, all the efforts they put in, it's interesting that Lagos. What do you think? They didn't say anything about VADs, so all the revenue that they generated in Q1.
Tunde has a message here on WhatsApp. It says, "Please confirm if ABC Transport Company is a publicly quoted company."
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Whether or not you should buy the stock, that's another story for another day.
We have another one here. Has no name, so we're not going to read it. Please include your names when you send us WhatsApp messages. Henry Manuel though says, "Rotus, remember that the major focus of V8s is on PIT, which is the primary responsibility of states' Internal Revenue Authority."
Right, but it is something that the Ministry of Finance, in the letter that the Tunde Fowler sent over to the Ministry of Finance, it's been part of their program. So I would expect, I mean, they're planning to raise $1 billion from this thing. That's that's huge.
That's huge.
Right. So I mean, can we get at least some kind of input as to how much has been collected so far? That's
it's possible actually more from the states anyway. So it's possible that the states haven't provided that data as well. So it's really more.
So Kingsley added his name to this. He says, "Good morning, Smooth family. Why do we have share prices drop even when fantastic results are released? Axis Bank is offering 40K dividend as against 25K from First Bank. Is it a good time to buy into Axis Bank?"
Well, we're going to check the first quarter results. I mean, was it marginal performance? But Muyiwa, do you want to take that? I mean, they usually price these things into the market now, have you? Is they already priced in?
Yeah. So if you think about how the prices of these stocks have moved from Q4 last year into this year, I think my view going into the year was more that most of the expected strong performance was priced in. Even though, to be fair to Access versus First Bank, Access full year numbers were below expectations. Numbers were down, I believe, year on year.
Right.
And so I think investors are still reacting to that and most likely trying to digest the Q1 numbers as well. Because the Q1 numbers, if you adjust for, because there was if you adjust for the additional AMCON charge that was taken for 2017, so 2017 numbers were actually restated to incorporate higher operating costs from higher AMCON charge. If you adjust for that, earnings actually down 17% year on year. So I think it's all that investors are looking at. And I think there's also been that view that compared to the other tier 1 banks as well, the Access hasn't taken enough. So if you think about the recession rate just coming out,
right,
numbers haven't really reflected or adjusted in terms of loan loss provisions. So there's still that concern that you could see loan loss provisions elevated versus peers like GTB or Zenith that seem to have, during the difficult times, taken more provisions.
All right, so that message I think was from Kingsley. Kingsley, so not just focus on the dividends. Look at as Muyiwa just stated here, the performance loan loss provisions and so on. So I'm a little cautious myself on access. So I would hold off on that.
He's really grateful though.
Okay, great.
And this one says V8 has collected a lot. I know so many who have done and are using the extension to pay company tax. I can tell you for sure.
Adeswa, all I want is them to just state the amount. It's been 9 months. That's all I'm asking. Can we just get a report of how much has been collected?
And Jumoke has a concern. No news about V8s. My employer debited me for V8's backlog for contributions made to pension voluntary contributions.
Try. See? We just want transparency. We just want to know the amount. All right, real quick, Valentine Ohu, about a minute ago to go.
Yeah.
Federal government hasn't done enough on infrastructure maintenance. This is coming from the Minister of Power, Works and Housing. Is he implicating himself here, Muyiwa, or is he just
that's a joke, right?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. This is the headline. Federal government hasn't done enough on infrastructure maintenance from Mr. Fashola, and I just didn't know.
So it's maybe saying budget constraints as well.
Right.
Because obviously you might have plans, and if revenues aren't coming in,
then you can't get it.
You're not able to execute.
Very interesting when he made this comment. Lagos, get this. He stated this while receiving an award of recognition from the Association of Indigenous Construction Contractors of Nigeria as a result of the regular payments of federal government contractors in the last year and a half. He got an award for paying contractors from an association. Tosin, I thought that was very interesting. That payments in Nigeria are so bad
that they get an award
for paying them on time.
That's good.
Wow.
That's good.
Valentine, are you being sarcastic?
Yeah, I am.
So it's actually been tough, right? So if you think that we're coming from recession, government revenues were down materially between 2015 and 16. So I think for them it's more. So
for states, for people who haven't received salaries for 9 months, they get salaries, they give their governors awards.
All right.
Muyiwa, thank you so much from Stanbic IBTC for joining us today. Tosin, thank you so much for holding it down for me. Please, you should join us for tomorrow for Tech Friday.
Yeah,
come aboard.
She's been amazing.
Yeah, she's been holding it down. Thanks for your message as well.
Thank you, Rotus. Lagos, you get to listen to another Muyiwa Folabi at 7 o'clock.
Nice one.
We're finally speaking. It's Smooth Breakfast with Folu and Valentine. Good morning.
Beyond the headlines.
Hey, no problem, man.
World Business